still hungover. I'm still hungover. I'm still hungover. I'm still hungover. Sometimes I wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Make my sandwich with the wrong side of the bread. Thought I made it by a landslide, but instead I'm still hungover. Sometimes I make the wrong phone call after dark. Sometimes I make the wrong turn, then I have to pause. I know exactly how this ends, but I have to start. I still come over. I'm just living my life. I'm just living my life. I'm just living my life, and I'm not living it right, but I don't give a damn.
People feel like everything is okay.
So do y'all think social media plays a major role in why people feel and think the way they do? Because I think that
some people don't need a voice.
They get. I'm not gonna say people don't need a voice. I believe everybody. Yeah, and I think they lack to go get outside sources. Because when you go and check, like fact check, you like, okay, so where do you get this information from? And they like, I seen on Facebook.
It's a bunch of opinions of people who got the like-minded opinions, and it comes off as fact. That's why I don't like getting gigs.
Even if it's on Fox, even if it's on Fox News, CNN, they still lie too. So every source of media is almost lying.
Essentially,
so it's like you really have to go search for it yourself.
A little bit deeper, than your own understanding. I think that's something that sometimes people on social media lack. Because they like, well, I seen this and it kept being said, but it's like, okay, do you go off of other websites, .gov, .net? Like, you're not looking on Wikipedia for your information. Because sometimes that's what it be. So I think maybe
we're gonna be totally honest. Wikipedia is not a valuable source.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's better than like a bunch of people online telling you how they feel. Like it's like y'all just meet me there and I believe everything you say. I'm gonna vote for his ass for president. Like,
so can I ask
you know what I'm saying? I can be a crazy motherfucker on the back end.
You say that you feel like
that's the point that Donald Trump made. Why he said he would go Republican? Because they believe everything. Like they are sheep. Yeah, they're sheep. They follow everything. Yeah, that's why he said it. He said it in the '80s. And what happened?
Are you talking about Sleepy Joe?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Donald Trump. When he said if I was to go for president, I would be a Republican.
Oh, yeah, he called it a long time ago.
When you seen that situation happen. You seen what everybody did? He said all that outrageous stuff when it comes to racist, sexual issues, things of that sort, raping women. A lot of people came out of the woodworks that wouldn't have said that without him actually speaking on that. Follow people like sheep. It's the same situation with social media.
Yeah. You stated that you feel like there's nothing we can do about it, and I want to ask, why do you feel like there's nothing we can do about it? Do you feel like speaking up is not doing anything?
I mean, like, we can, but it's, like, so many different things. So, like, people not being for transgenders, these doctors is out here, like, making stuff. Like, y'all can't even have a cure for cancer. Y'all can't have a vaccine or just different stuff like that. But y'all are giving, like, y'all are, like, reassigning people's, like, sexual, like...
That's crazy.
That is ass backwards.
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are now...
business model, though.
Like, in the next few years, men probably can't have babies. Like, because y'all are, like, so focused on...
That's a demon.
Like, y'all are so focused on, like, social media things, like she said with social media. Like, y'all see that people are posting this and that people... It's okay, because if he is homosexual or whatever, he doesn't want to be a man anymore. Mm-hmm. Why is it not okay? Because on social media, you see that all these people are changing at their genders. You see plastic surgery is so easy for people to get things done, but only because of social media. Like, people are seeing, not just because social media, people are seeing them, but it's promoted so much on social media, and people get so much more support with those things, because it's like, oh, you are actually showing up for who you want to be, and not because people are telling you can't be that person. And so it's a little bit more acceptable because that's what everybody is supporting.
So are y'all too afraid to, like, speak out loud about it sometimes?
I am.
Like,
I feel like that's not my place.
As a man who
I feel like it's not my place, because at the end of the day, I still believe that I can't do anything about it. And when I say about it, I mean like somebody else's sexual, like,
preference.
Yeah, like their preference. Because if you do decide that you want to go do a sex change, like me saying no, you're gonna still go do that.
Yeah, it's like for me, I love everybody, literally. Mm-hmm. So even though they're doing something I have a friend who's super
different.
Yeah, he's super unique. But I love him to death. But even to his face, I'd be like, no, I don't believe in that stuff. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. I feel like speaking up is, especially if you're speaking out of love, there's nothing wrong with it. Like y'all say, it's not my business, but to me, it is my business because I have kids, and these things are being found in my kids' school now. Yeah. And it's like this book saying "mommy and me," and it's like, no, my kids ain't growing up with this, and I have a right to raise my kids how I want to. So although it doesn't look like it's affecting us because it is their personal business, but it's being advertised and made like it's the norm. And it's just a small percentage of people.
I find it being an issue that Black history is being taken out. In Oklahoma particularly, I think Texas and a couple other states, they don't want to talk from, I think, kindergarten on through when you're about to graduate high school, 12th grade. That I will never understand, but you're so far pushing. Yeah, they want to take it out completely. But they're so far pushing. But they're so far pushing of having to understand it.
They want everybody to be equal. Like,
but it would never be.
And I think that's why also it's important for people to be like, you gotta have them conversations at home. It's just not at school, because when they teach us history in school, who they teach us about? Martin Luther King.
That's why I don't want my kids learning about Black history in school. I want them to learn about home.
It's not very fruitful.
It's not.
It doesn't give them what they really need.
But here's the thing: you have them teachers that will say, well, that's great that you want this criteria. I'm going to do this. I'm going to teach this.
I can't wait.
But you always got a choice.
So I can
very true. Because it's even being pushed now that it's okay to explore different sexual endeavors
for kids.
And I feel like that's why it's important for you to talk to your kids about those things. Because it's like, even though you say like that's not my business and it's not my place to tell somebody what they should or shouldn't be doing, people are still gonna do it. So it's like, even though you don't want your kids to learn or know about that because other people are doing it, they're still going to learn because other people are doing it. So it's like, even though we can say no and we don't agree with, it don't matter how early it is. Kids are like
y'all said earlier, y'all were introduced to sex at 12 years old. So
and like as women, like, I'm not gonna say all of us, but majority of us probably were not having sex at 12, 15. Like none of that really. And so
there's only a few. It's only a few kids doing that, but in my environment, that was like a normal thing.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. I talked to my daughter about those things, and I didn't say anything bad about them, but she's able to identify it, like, and help her little sister. Like, her little sister grabbed the book from the library, and she's like, "Oh no, Willow, that's inappropriate. You gotta put that back." And I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of rainbows in here."
But are you doing the same thing to, like, if they were to open a book and see a man and a woman together too? Because I still feel like
anything sexual. Anything sexual.
Okay.
Like, kids shouldn't be seeing anything sexual. It should just be a kid's book. But if it's a book, if it's a book it's just about a husband and a wife raising a family, I'm not going to take that book from her. Because that's the foundation I want my kids to grow up in. And like I said, I have a choice to how I want my kids to be raised. I think that's the right way.
I get it, man. Like, my girlfriend's daughter, who was at a grocery store, and she's like, "Mr. Miles, he has nails on. Like, nails like Quisha has on right now. If you could just do that right. Like that. Like, and she was just like, what's going on? I'm confused. I was just like, I had to really explain when we got back to my girlfriend's apartment to say, okay.
Like, how do you explain
how do you? And that's crazy. I didn't know how to explain it. It took an hour conversation to kind of explain it.
It's a conversation you have to have in your household because you're going to get exposed to it. However much you try to sugarcoat it or cover it up, it's going to be exposed because that's what's normal now. And you can't be upset about how someone else lives their life just because you don't see it's acceptable or right.
That's true. I just see it as we gotta understand what that is, and that's a response to trauma, especially in the men. People don't see it as that because it's been glamorized and accepted. But as Dr. Umar Johnson educated me years ago, and I always gotta mention Umar because that's where I got it from. I ain't Google it, I ain't find it, but once he shared this information, via internet, I had to do my research. And when you look back at the 1970s, that lifestyle was considered a mental health disorder.
Gender dysphoria.
Then the person who said it wasn't was a person from that community. Person, you know what I'm saying? That's like that's like the Joker, like, nah, he crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the Joker, you know what I'm saying? Like, So when you look at that from that perspective, it's like, what are these people going through? If you watch the Chappelle special he had when he said his friend was like, we just want to be heard. These people are people who are going through things mentally and emotionally, and this is how it comes out of them in the physical that we see. Everybody does it different. Some people go gangbang. Some people smoke crack, like we was talking about earlier. Some people drink. Some people do, they drive fast cars, they shop, eat, whatever. This is them handling the trauma that they're battling within on the inside, and that's how you explain it to your children, so they don't judge them. So they don't hate them, so they understand them, so they're not treating them like they're lesser than, like I'm above you because you got your nails painted. Like, yeah, I don't agree with that, and we can still talk and we can shake hands, but you're not gonna come around me living that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bring my stuff around you and try to make you live how I'm gonna live. But going back to what your point, you were saying, like, should we stand up? The way you stand up is by just living your life by example. Being that voice of reason, saying, hey, I don't think you should die for this, but I wouldn't think it's the best thing you should do for yourself long term. Because when you look at the long-term outcomes of this lifestyle, what are the positive benefits from it? You can't show me two people that say there's 30 years into this stuff and say, yeah, I'm happy, I'm glad I did this. It brought about something better to the world. And when you look deeper into it, because I've done my research on this as well, finding people who come out of that lifestyle and the stories that they share, and I'll say 99.9% of them said, I was traumatized and this is how I handled it. Whether it was through some type of sexual abuse as a child or through whatever. You know what I'm saying? I know people, you know what I'm saying, that's like in my family that's like, they was, socially awkward, and everybody, they tease them and say, oh, you gay. And then they just say, yeah, I'm gay. A lot of people going to it like that. But a lot of people going to it like that. It's like people bullying, oh, you soft, you a punk. Then they, oh, I guess I'm a punk. I just don't got no confidence. It's just the same thing, you know what I'm saying? So
that person has to figure that out.
Just go back also. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's just like that's when people really have to learn themselves, because that person has to figure that out for themselves. Like, what is it and why is it that I'm this way? And like that is true for some people, but for the others, some people are really, I feel like, in my opinion, are just born that way as far as like their sexual preferences. But experience, like I do believe the experience does lead people that way, and so they never really figure out what it is and why they are that way, and so that's why we can't judge them or say we're gonna change things.
I'm not going to judge them, but I'm not going to accept that they were born that way either.
Sandwich with the